Guess who's back in the house? I hope you guys are having a lovely Thursday. I just watched the latest episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 11, Episode 12. We're at the top 5 with Vanjie, Evie, Silky, Brooklyn, and Angeria. I could not wait to come home and watch this episode. I'm wearing an ice pack on my head because work has been literally stressing me out. I'm getting these intense migraines, and Drag Race was like my ibuprofen that cleared up my headache. After I watched it, the headache came back because I was thinking about work. But on to the episode. So the queens walk into the workroom, and unfortunately Nina West has been eliminated, and Silky reads her message in the mirror, and it said the pride of season 11, which I thought was really cute since in the last episode she wore the rainbow flag on the runway. And so my top 3 things that happened during this episode was, finally we get to see Silky in a vulnerable moment. Silky states that she was reflecting on something that Evie had said in the previous episode, where she saw that behind the personality, behind the kind of like the facade that she pulls up and the sassiness, that there is a human behind Silky. And this is what I stated in the last video, that I wanted to see more vulnerableness from Silky. And it's a shame that we see it so late in the season, that this is something that I wanted from Silky. So I love that. And I'm interested to see what will happen during the reunion, because we have this vulnerable moment, but I would hate for Silky to become combative, because she has been going back and forth with Soju on Twitter, and I think with Ariel as well, and maybe some of the other contestants, that they didn't see eye to eye. But I hope she takes this to a positive place, because I love Silky. Silky is a phenomenal performer. I love her energy, and she definitely has the story of someone young, black, creative, who's queer, who's trying to make it into the world, who is educated, and I identify with that story. That's me. And so I hope she keeps it really positive, because the fandom, they have been attacking her left and right. Another thing that I love during this episode, so the queens have to learn choreography to perform for RuPaul's new song, Queens Everywhere. And Evie's performance is incredible. Evie is able to use her body in a way that actually Naomi Smalls uses her body. She's flexible. She's able to bend, and it's funny, every time that I think of Evie now, I think of Vanjie's comment, "Why are you playing the ugly Naomi Smalls?" It just kills me, but she really reminds me of Naomi Smalls. And so I'm really excited about the finale. I wanted to be at the finale. The finale was taped 2 days ago in downtown LA, and I should have brought my tickets to DragCon sooner, because apparently if you buy your tickets to DragCon, you are invited to go to the taping of the finale, and I missed it. Next year, I'm going to get my DragCon tickets early so I can get that email to go to the taping of the finale. Also, this episode, one thing that I really loved is Angeria's commentary. Angeria has the best commentary, and when she talked about Big Silk spilling the milk on this or on the previous week's lip sync was hilarious. But Angeria's commentary really reminded me of Monique Hart and her commentary. I felt like we were having a Hello America moment with Angeria this episode. And so fast forward. So the queens go to the runway to work with Todrick Hall for the top 5 performance. And so during the actual rehearsal, the standouts to me were Vanjie and Silk. And Brooklyn also. Brooklyn really learned it very well. So they really stood out during the performance, and so during the rehearsal, I should say. And the rehearsal ended. Angeria's nervous because she hasn't really learned it. Evie doesn't seem really confident in the choreography. And so then we have a cute moment where Rupaul and Michelle tape the podcast, What's the Tea? And I was actually really shocked because during the previous tapings of the podcast for like the top 5, Ru is always in boy drag. But then Ru came out as Rupaul in full geesh, and I was gagging. Ru looked so good. Probably Ru's look for the podcast was probably the best that Ru has looked all season in terms of like makeup. Raven has really come into her own with doing Ru's makeup. And the wig looked good too. And so I loved when Ru asked both Brooklyn and Vanjie about their relationship, and they both said that they wanted to continue after taping of the show. So I really love that moment, and I hope that the relationship lasts because they really look cute together. And then someone in the workroom actually called them Brangie, which I thought that was really cute. I hope to one day be in a relationship with someone and we can have our own combined name, a playoff Victor and their name, something really cute that people, it can roll off of the tongue very easily, because rolling off the tongue is important. And so fast forward, there's a cute moment in the workroom as the queens are getting ready. Angeria has these great moments of commentary with the audience, the Hello America moments that I really love. And so fast forward, we see the full performance, and it's shot in one take. And so my standouts, Evie, makeup on point. She did this back bend into a flip into this kind of like back crawl. It was very Matrix. Was the best person on the performance. Her lyrics were great. She really presented herself. Loved it. Big Silk stormed out of a bathroom stall, pushed this little wafy white girl out of her way, and sold it completely. I loved it. Angeria had this really cool metallic bodysuit with a matching wig, and she really utilized the wig to tell the story that she was giving to us through the lyrics. And so I really appreciated that. I actually thought Brooklyn did very well. Brooklyn's routine was executed well, but I actually wasn't watching Brooke's face. I was watching Brooke's body because of, Brooke is a dancer, and the story that Brooklyn tells with her body through dance is always beautiful, but I wasn't watching the face. Vanjie seemed completely disconnected from the performance altogether, and I was actually really shocked because there was nothing in the face going at all, and at some points she looked distracted, like something was going on in her head, and it was very sad to watch. And so on the main stage, they had to give their best drag. Angeria looked beautiful in this blue stoned gown that hugged her body in all the right places. It had fringe at the bottom. Her makeup was on point. It was iridescent with this beautiful blue and violet. The hair was blonde, pageantry, gorgeous. Brooklyn actually was a little disappointed with. She gave kind of like, it was like an homage to her dance background as a ballerina. Although it was beautiful, I didn't think it was her best drag. And I think that's what ultimately put her in the bottom. We didn't get a wow moment. Evie looked beautiful. There was a girl on social media about 4 years ago who came out of nowhere and had this really cool bio girl, but she had this really cool kind of like drag look where she had 3 breasts, and she basically stated that they were natural, but it came out that it was kind of like a prop. And so I hope that was Evie's inspiration. And Evie had 3 breasts, a 3rd eye, 3 stones on her butt cheeks, and the makeup was flawless. The nose looked shaved down to just like a thin point, like my finger. The contouring was beautiful. It was blended. I love the lip, this deep red color. The hair, everything looked good. Silky gave me pageant drag, but the corset, that was a corset, because that waist was snatched to the gods, as they say back home in Florida. She looked so good, so right. Whoever made that dress with the corset needs to make all of her garments, because she looked good. Vanjie was okay. It was just kind of like a floor-length emerald gown. It was okay. And so we learned that the people who are proceeding to the finale are Evie, Angeria, and Silky, which meant that the couple had to lip sync. And my heart went out to Brooklyn and Vanjie because I know how difficult it must be to lip sync against your partner. And they performed Aretha Franklin's Pride. Here are my thoughts. So my eyes were on Vanjie the entire time. Vanjie really sold the performance. I love the subtle nuances. It was kind of like a kick at the perfect moment, a hair flip at the perfect moment, removing the bottom part of the gown, pulling out a fan from somewhere, giving me attitude, selling it. Brooklyn gave me this prima donna version in Point, which at some moments was cute, but when I think of Aretha Franklin, I don't think of a ballerina in Point. I think of attitude. I think big personality. I think owning the stage. Stating, I'm here, this is me, deal with it. I didn't get that from Brooklyn at all. And so, out of the two, Rue tells Brooklyn that she is moving forward to the top 4. And so it was really sad to see Vanjie go home. I know Vanjie's fans are blowing up Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat right now. So I'm going to log on to social media to see what's going on. This concludes the review. Please let me know your thoughts about the top 4. We're finally here. Top 4. Evie, Silky, Angeria, and Brooklyn, which is a really strong top 4, and I can't wait to see this finale and the reunion. So who do you think is going to win overall? Who do you think are going to lip sync during the finale? It would be so cool to see Silky versus Evie. Like, I would just gag. Like, that would be so cool. It would have been cool to see kind of like all of the Dream Girls perform together. The Dream Girls are Angeria, Silky, and Vanjie. They've been performed. They're like the new supergroup out of Drag Race. We've had the AAA girls, which was Willow, Alaska, and Courtney. And so now we have the Dream Girls. And so I'm excited to see what they do together after kind of like all of the hoopla behind the season dies down. But I would actually love to see them do something together. That would be really cool. So leave your comments below. If you're watching for the first time, welcome. Please subscribe to my channel. No, I don't always wear an ice pack. My head is just killing me. Please hit the like button and share this with your friends. And I can't wait to see you next week. Have a wonderful guy. Have a wonderful day. Besos.